Today, I'm flying in Delta One. Get ready to join me on one of the ultimate experiences in commercial aviation luxury flying in the USA. I'm headed to Las Vegas, Nevada today, and I just won't have a regular airline seat. I'll have a live flat bed in the sky. It's the creme de la creme for me today. I'm making my way to John F. Kennedy International Airport to take advantage of Delta Sky Priority, Delta Sky Clubs, and the ultimate in airborne comfort, Delta One. But this isn't your typical flight vlog, as I'll provide you with the intricate details of the ins and outs. So fasten your seatbelt, because you're in for a fantastic ride. I am really excited about my flight in the Delta One cabin on a 757 today. I've arrived at Terminal 2 at JFK, and I'm going to use the Sky Priority entrance to go into the terminal. The Sky Priority entry is a dedicated entry for passengers in Delta One, First Class, and Elite members. Every time I've been here, it's always been void of crowds, and that's the case today. Delta also operates out of Terminal 4 at JFK. They have a beautiful check-in area over there, but I'm going to use this one today because my flight is leaving from this terminal. So let's check in so we can head over to Vegas.
And where are you traveling to today?
Las Vegas.
Thank you for being a delegate of Delta One. I appreciate your visit.
As usual, my check-in process was super easy. There was nobody online, and now I'm going to go through TSA. One, two, three. TSA is all done. I am now in Terminal 2. Terminal 2 gives you some really up close and personal views of the aircraft, like that Saudi Arabian aircraft behind me. But one of the things that I'm really looking forward today is the fact that as a Delta One customer, I'm able to use the Delta Sky Club for free. I actually do have access to it already because I'm a Diamond Medallion, so I'd be going anyway, but if you're flying on Delta One, you're going to be able to use the Delta Sky Club for free. Now, I'm in Terminal 2. The Sky Club in Terminal 2 is a little bit older, so I'm going to take the shuttle over to Terminal 4, which has a beautiful Sky Club. I'm on my way to the shuttle over to Terminal 4, but of course, Terminal 2, like I said, has these amazing views of aircraft, really up close and personal, so I had to stop and take a look at that CRJ-900 behind me. Have you seen my video where I fly in the CRJ-900? Check it out. That's an awesome aircraft to fly on. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click on that subscribe button below because I've got some amazing content to share with you. Come with me on the complimentary shuttle over to Terminal 4 for a luxurious Sky Club experience. The shuttle bus is located right on the ramp level, so you know that's going to make me content. And I've got the entire bus to myself today. And there goes the Saudi Arabian 777. It's not this often that you can get this close to this many airplanes. Thank you. All right, I've made it to Terminal 4 by taking the shuttle bus over from Terminal 2. It is always a thrill to be up close and personal with those airplanes. I'm gonna go head upstairs and work my way towards the Delta Sky Club at Terminal 4. I'm now in the Terminal 4 Sky Club at JFK. I'm taking the escalator because it's upstairs. The Sky Club at Terminal 4 offers complimentary food and drink and a relaxing and contemporary atmosphere. A dedicated staff of professionals ensures you get what you want. It's an oasis for the elite travelers, those in Delta One, and for those with prestigious credit cards. What a great place to go before I board my flight. There's no need for eligible customers to wait in line downstairs in restaurants and wait for an order to be taken and then wait to pay. Here, it's all done in an instant and there's no bill at the end. The Sky Club is a well-appointed space, and it's clear that tremendous attention to detail was adhered to when designing and implementing this space. While at this Sky Club, you kind of feel like you're not even at an airport, but I love airports, so I have another reason why I'm visiting this Sky Club. This is the main reason why I came to the T4 Sky Club. there is an outdoor lounge with views of the ramp here at JFK. It is a beautiful day here in New York City. The views are spectacular. I'm really enjoying this. It is so rare to be in an airline terminal and be outdoors past security, but this Sky Club Sky Deck allows you to soak up the sun and enjoy views of the ramp and runways. Pretty soon I'll be out there on my lie-flat seat to Vegas. This is a very special place, and the Rooftop Club is right in the middle of the action at the amazing John F. Kennedy International Airport. Alas, it's time to leave the Sky Club and go back to the concourse level. The Sky Club is midway down the B concourse, and I'll pass by some more airplanes on my way back to the bus to Terminal 2. It's now time for me to head back over to Terminal 2. There's quite a difference between what I just saw in Terminal 4 and Terminal 2 now. Terminal 2 is old. It's a stark contrast from Terminal 4, and I've got some time on my hands, so why not continue in my indulgent experience and stop by the Sky Club here? Like the club in Terminal 4, this one is also on an upper level, but it lacks the sweeping airport views. With a few minutes to spare, I once again took advantage of complimentary food and drink. This club was actually quite pleasant as it was less crowded and it felt more relaxed. Remember, the Delta Sky Club is part of the Delta One experience, and it's now time to continue the experience by heading down to my 757. What a majestic bird this plane is. This plane was delivered to TWA in 1996, then flew for American Airlines when TWA dissolved, and it's been in Delta's fleet since 2007 and still going strong. The Boeing 757 is the only narrow body that I can think of that utilizes the second boarding door for boarding, but most narrow body aircraft don't even have this boarding door in front of the wing. As I boarded, I took a quick glimpse to the right at the Comfort Plus seats to get a look at these seats because I'm about to turn left and enter a whole new dimension. I'm headed into Delta One. My seat is going to be 4D, which is the last row of the Delta One cabin. Awaiting me on my seat was Westin Heavenly bedding, including a pillow, which I would be able to use later in the flight as I turn my seat into a bed. Yes, a bed. I'll be able to make this bed go lie flat at 180 degrees. I've got 2 windows to myself, and they're big. Gosh, I love the 757. There is a lot of room here. The flight attendant came by and handed me a premium headset to use for the Delta Studio entertainment system. The TV monitors are massive, which I'm going to love for watching the flight tracking system. This is just a delightful cabin to be in. Well, talk about luxury and space. The legroom is absolutely amazing on this Boeing 757's Delta One cabin. I'm enjoying this a lot. I actually didn't use the headsets. If you watch my videos, you know that I just love watching the moving map and I look out the window the entire flight, but the headsets were a nice touch. For me, the flight itself was entertainment. It's actually pretty rare to be in a Delta One cabin on a domestic flight, but it's happening right now. Delta One has traditionally been offered domestically on transcon flights like JFK to LAX and SFO, but since the pandemic, Delta One has been seen more often on routes that were traditionally served by an aircraft without a Delta One cabin. This is something that you cannot complain about. This seat has got everything. A reading light and plenty of ways to power up isn't something that you find in most other cabins. The 757 also has some rather large windows. Everything is large here. A large TV screen, 2 large windows, and a large space all to myself. There are only 4 rows in this Delta One cabin, and the seats are laid out in a 2x2 configuration for a total of 16 seats. At the time I booked this seat, the price was $3,466. Did I pay that much? Not at all. As a frequent Delta flyer, I use SkyMiles to pay for this ticket. The SkyMiles program is a great way to earn mileage by flying a lot and then rewarding yourself with flights like this. I think it's best to use your miles when confronted with an elevated cost for an elevated experience like this. So I'm definitely not complaining because the next several hours are going to be providing me with flying in a bed in the sky. How cool is that? It was a hot summer day, and to keep the aircraft cool, our pilots started the aircraft engines at the gate.
Right now we're starting the engines at the gate. We'll get some cool air shortly. We'll be pushing back shortly as well, and have a nice ride out to Las Vegas. 4 hours and 56 minutes in the trip once we get airborne. Thank you. I appreciate it.
This 757, with a tail number of November 307 Tango Whiskey, is powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney 2040 engines, an engine type very common on many 757s. Rolls-Royce also makes engines for use on the 757. The 757 engines make amazing sounds that will thrill any aviation buff. The seatbelt sign is on and I'm all buckled up in my extra legroom seat. Let's get ready to head to Las Vegas.
My name is Shane. I'll be your flight lead today's flight, set to boundary of the New York City based flight today. And before we depart, we'd like to show you a brief presentation of the safety features of the 757 aircraft. You also notice that we're wearing masks to ensure we're all protected, and we appreciate you wearing yours over the COVID and nose and mouth throughout our flight as well, even while you're asleep.
And with that, we received clearance from ramp control to begin our pushback off of our gate at JFK's Terminal 2. This is a very well-coordinated area of the airport. Ground crews are working to bring our 757 to the end of the ramp, where we will then contact ground control for clearance to taxi to the runway. There are several taxiways that we can line up with for our taxi to the runway today, and today we'll be using taxiway Lima Alpha to leave Delta Land and join the mix of diverse airlines as we taxi to the active departure runway, which will be 22 right. We're now talking to FAA staff in the control tower working as Kennedy Ground Control, and they have instructed us to initially take taxiway Bravo to get towards the departure runway. I really enjoy this view from the 2 large windows because taxiway Bravo will eventually parallel runway 22 right, which will give me some awesome views of aircraft taking off. As we approached the departure runway, we faced a ground stop to Las Vegas, despite it being on the other side of the country, so we had to wait on the ground for a bit. The pilot came on and made an announcement about it on the PA.
For our departure time to Las Vegas for flight control. So that's how much people are traveling now, and the aircraft is waiting our turn to get out to Vegas, and then we'll be on our way. Like I say, 4 hours and 56 minutes worth of our cruise.
Yep, almost ready for departure. After some time waiting on the ground, Kennedy Tower instructed us to line up and wait on runway 22 right, and once the coast was clear, we were cleared for takeoff on the 12,079-foot long runway which heads southwest. The power of the Pratt & Whitney engines. Listen to this. After takeoff, we flew runway heading and then started a left turn. That's in the opposite direction of Las Vegas, so why are we going this way? Well, today, our initial departure gate out of the New York City area is to the northwest of JFK due to current weather conditions. This route is a longer route than normal. Flights to Vegas usually fly towards Robbinsville, New Jersey before heading west, but today we're going to head out east for a bit and then northwest, making a giant circle around New York City. Why? Well, New York's airspace is quite complex, and we need to avoid the airspace for other airports like LaGuardia, so this giant left turn is necessary for the safe separation between our 757 and other aircraft. This is some of the busiest airspace in the world. Once we're well northwest of New York City, we're then able to proceed on course towards the southwest towards Las Vegas. Our turn provides us with some great views of Long Island, New York. JFK Airport is located on the island, but in the New York City portion of the island, specifically in Queens, New York. After Long Island, we fly over the Long Island Sound and are provided with great views of Stamford, Connecticut. Yes, we went that far north. And as we continue around, we see a great view of the Westchester County Airport. This procedure adds some time to the flight, but it's the best and safest option for us today. You can see on the map on the screen the left turn that we made. We're now approaching our cruising altitude, and the New York departure controller is now handing us off to the first Air Route Traffic Control Center, who is advising us to proceed on our filed flight plan now that we're clear of the heavy traffic in the New York metropolitan area, and this 757 is doing a fine job in its performance. This 757 has a cruising speed of 575 miles per hour and a range of 3,370 miles, which is more than needed for our trip of around 2,500 miles today. This plane is around 155 feet long and has a wingspan of around 135 feet. There's also a stretched version of this aircraft, the 757-300 series, but it's not as common as this version, the 200 series. We are now approaching the airspace of the Cleveland Air Route Traffic Control Center, where controllers will be monitoring our flight. Meanwhile, in the cabin, I decided to charge my phone and open up my faux wooden tray table in preparation for drink service. I ordered some orange juice with a cup of ice. Now, even though this is a Delta One flight, it's being operated during a pandemic, and full meal service has not yet resumed in Delta One cabins, so I was presented with a choice of 2 snack boxes. This time, I chose the Bistro box. The contents are basic and simple. Prior to the pandemic, a full meal would have been offered in first class, and an even elevated experience would occur in Delta One. Now, this is Delta One, and my airline seat can transform into a bed, so I'm going to set the controls to turn this seat into a lie flat. I folded in my tray table and then did this. Extending my seat made my personal space feel even larger than it was when the seat was in the upright position. Just look at all the room I have. At this point, I decided to use the Westin Heavenly bedding that was provided at boarding to line my personal bed, making it even more comfortable. The bedding also included a pillow, and it wasn't your standard size airplane pillow. This was a full size and plush pillow. It felt like I was in a hotel bed at this moment. Lying down at 180 degrees is just incredible, and I decided to try various sleeping positions just to check it out. Now, did I actually sleep in this bed? Absolutely not. Even though it's nice to have a bed, this was a day flight, and I did not want to spend time with my eyes closed on a Boeing 757. It's just too exciting, and those big windows are still there for me to gaze out of. Here's an Air France 777-300 flying from LAX to Paris, going around some weather. This view is worth it. It's now time to leave my seat and take a trip to the forward lavatory. It's a short walk past the 4 rows of pod seats to get there. The lavatory is a standard lavatory of decent size. One of the more interesting features is that the toilet is flushed by a wave of the hand. That's a great feature during a pandemic. Even with the touchless flush, I made sure that I washed my hands using the soap provided. There's even hand lotion in this lavatory, but I didn't use it. One nice feature in this lavatory is that there's a diaper changing table that is decorated with a relaxing scene of clouds in the sky. That was a nice touch. It's now time to return to my seat that I've placed in the upright position so I can see out the window. Unfortunately, there were clouds for most of the flight, so there wasn't too much to see, but it was still a great experience. Our flight today took us across multiple states, and up in the cockpit, our flight crew is talking to various air route traffic control centers along the way who are monitoring our flight. We're headed towards a point right now in the standard terminal arrival route where flights from many airports will meet at a point in the sky and receive clearance to lower altitudes and turns to fit into the sequence of arrivals. Las Vegas is a busy airport today. Remember that when we left JFK, we had to take a delay on the ground because so many flights were headed over to Las Vegas. The sun was starting to go down as we started our arrival procedure into the dry desert area. Today, we'll be landing on runway 26 left, which is parallel to runway 26 right. Runway 26 left is being used for arrivals, while the parallel runway is being used for departures. We'll be approaching the airport from the northeast before we make a right turn to join the final approach course after being sequenced between other arrivals to avoid wake turbulence from them. Ideally, an approach to runway 19 left or 19 right would be desirable for someone seated on the right side of the plane like me because this parallels the Las Vegas Strip. With this approach, we're only going to be able to see a portion of the bright Vegas Strip.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for landing, please make sure you're seated in a upright or locked position. Your power armrest is lowered and your tray table is stowed at this time. If you're sitting in the Delta One cabin, please bring your seat into its upright position also. Flight attendants will be coming through the aisle one last time to collect their remaining trash.
As we get closer to the airport, Las Vegas approach control sequences us in toward the extended center line of the runway, where we will soon intercept the localizer on the instrument landing system. The approach controller is working very hard because there are a lot of airplanes approaching Las Vegas this evening. Once we're closer to the airport, we are cleared for an ILS approach to runway 26 left behind proceeding traffic, and the approach controller instructs us to contact the air traffic control tower where we receive our landing clearance. Welcome to Las Vegas. Runway 26 left is 10,526 feet long, and the airport elevation is around 2,000 feet. This runway has plenty of room for our 757 to stop, and we use taxiway Alpha 6 to clear the runway, as well as cross the departure runway after receiving clearance to do so. The Delta gates are located at the satellite concourse across from Terminal 3, so we have to make a 180-degree turn to get there. It'll take just a few minutes to taxi in so I can officially complete my Delta One experience.
I was made it to Las Vegas, Nevada. Most people know this as the McCarran Airport, but the airport has actually received a name change. It's actually the Harry Reid Airport now.
Yep, McCarran has a new name. You'll probably hear more about it in the upcoming months, and airport signage still says McCarran, but that name is now part of the past.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.
All right, I'm on the ground in Vegas. It is very, very hot here. You can just feel the heat here in the jetway. It is 115 degrees. This terminal is completely full. We actually had a ground delay program at JFK coming into Las Vegas because there's just so much traffic coming into this airport.
The gate area that I arrived at are satellite gates, which means they are not connected to the landside portion of the terminal. This means that it's necessary to travel below the level of the ramp by escalator, then board a tram for a short ride to the terminal building. I took the tram that leads to the Delta landside area, and this tram eventually emerges to the above ground level, where you can see outside for a few moments before entering the terminal building.
I'm on my way to baggage claim.
This is the grand baggage claim area of the Las Vegas airport. The baggage claim area is bright and showy, just like the casinos on the nearby Las Vegas Strip. It only took me a few minutes to get my bag, and Delta guarantees delivery in 20 minutes. And then, I was off to my hotel room. Well, I'm now in my hotel here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was great to go from a lie flat seat to an actual bed. Fantastic day. I really hope you enjoyed my video. I really enjoyed bringing you along with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so that you're alerted as to every time I post something new for you. I've got lots of great content to share with you. Have a good night.